Hi, and welcome back to That's So Nova. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, hi, how are you doing? My name is Nova, and I am a bag maker, and I kind of some quilter, clothes maker, but mostly bags. And today we're going to make the Alley Commuter Tote or slash nappy bag from Serial Bag Maker. I went over the pattern. I've never made this bag before. So what you're seeing is live, going over the instructions. I was looking through this pattern and reading it, and it has a really cool feature that I have never seen on any bag, and I really desperately wanted to show you guys how to make this bag. I think it'd be a really fun summer tote, or your kids are going to grandma's house and you want to stick a bag, like stuff in it for them. It's a nice size bag. The finishing size is 18 by 16 by 4. It's a good size bag. So I'm going to be using all quilting cotton, and let's get ready to sew, and you're going to see my mistakes so that you don't have to make them. This is my first time making it, and I'm kind of excited. So here we go. So for this bag, the tools and the notions you need are either 2 number size 3 dress zippers that are 12 inches. I'm going to be using a 5-inch, a number 5 zipper tape that is a little bit wider, but it should work just fine. And 2 invisible magnetic snaps. I have visible ones, but I also have the prong ones just in case when we get to that point we have options. A handbag zipper that's a size 5, that's at least 20 inches. We're going to need elastic and 4 grommets. The grommets, the inner circle is how grommets are measured. So the inner circle of this one is 15 mm if you're not in the US. If you're looking at me in the US, it's a ½ inch. It's a little over a ½ inch, but the way the grommets are made out here, it's like 3/8 of an inch, 5/8, a ½ inch. Now each grommet style could be different. I have grommets that are ½ inch in the diameter, but that are 1 inch and 1/4 wide, or they can be 5 inches. It just depends on the style. So we're going to have fun with that. Some fabric glue, some double-sided tape like Wonder Tape. So it doesn't require a whole lot of hardware, has some really cool techniques, and we're going to have some fun. So let's get into it. There's a cutting list, and she does include really nice labels. I'm going to, the way I usually do my stuff is that if there's a lot of pattern pieces, I will put a Wonder Clip or whatever clip I have available on the papers, so that way I know what I'm looking for. So we're going to need patterns pieces C and D, which we have. And I'm going to move these pattern pieces over there. And we are going to be using a 3/8 of an inch sewing. I put a fresh needle in here, 9014. And I'm using Tex 45 polyester thread. The top is from Wizardly Stitchery. It's like called Fairy Floss. And because I'm using a Disney fabric, I was like, yeah, give me the variant. And the bottom of my thread is 45, but it's the cheaper thread from Waywack. I love Waywack Saba thread with all my heart, especially on this one. And it's just a nice, like, pretty fuchsia. I couldn't find any purple. I know I have it, but there's a strong possibility my dog Loki ate it or chewed it, and we had to get it out of his mouth. He, for some odd reason, is attracted to my thread. If it's on the kitchen table, if it's on my dining room table, we're like, no, Loki, no. He's still a baby. He's not 1 year old yet, so it's a never-ending process. So on this, we're going to lay these right sides together, and I'm going to get a few Wonder Clips. I have pins for the cotton, but we're going to need Wonder Clips because you can't stick pins in here.
What are you sticking your hand in?
In the honey pot. So you're going to put the honey pot aside. And I'm going to pop a few clips. If you're using vinyl, which I am testing out this new, well, not testing out, Serial Bag Maker has a new vinyl, and I will put the name of the vinyl in the description. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if you can go to this camera. This is the most gorgeous faux leather ever, and it has like a nice and soft nape to the back. It kind of feels like I'm trying to get. It's like it's a very soft pile. It doesn't stretch that much, and just look at that the variance of colors. You really think this is a suede or whatever? And I'm like, yes.
I thought it was suede.
Yeah, this is Anne's new faux leather. It's like really gorgeous. And when she releases it, I'm gonna be the first one buying it because this is gorgeous. I want to see what other colors it comes in. I'm kind of excited. So we're going to sew right sides together. One of the pattern piece C, and then this is the base at 3/8 of an inch. I'm using a 2.5, but I'm going to bump it up to a 3 for the stitch length. And I'm using my narrow foot. If it gets too thick, I have my the compensation foot, but we shall see. We need it. I think my bobbin's doing that weird thing. Sometimes if I have an full bobbin and I don't have a whiplash in, what happens is it kind of gets funky and I have to unroll all of this and waste perfectly good thread for it to not act a donkey. I know I should put the whiplash in it, but man, it's always something. But that's a good thing about these machines and you testing out and knowing your machine. Put that in. Grab the top. And here we go. Okay, so we did that at 3/8 of an inch. And then we're going to put the seam allowance to the exterior of the gusset bottom. So we're going to take the seam allowance here and put it towards the gusset, the bottom of the gusset, and then we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. And we got that. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this pattern piece C and put it connected to D. Pop a few clips, or if you're rogue, you don't need clips, then do it. Whatever you're comfortable with. Make sure everything lines up. This clip is holding it really well. Okay. Remember to back stitch 1 or 2 stitches. And taking your seam allowance, putting it towards that bottom gusset, and top stitching. Oops. Okay, my machine did something weird. Let's see. There's no bird nest, so that's a good thing. Maybe it just was acting a donkey. So what we're going to do is now iron piece Q to the bottom of the base. Okay. Move that over there. Okay. So we're going to take the Decoville light. And she has different options for what interfacings you can use. But she also sells Decoville light. That's where I get all my Decoville light from. Like fast ship, like really fast shipping, like freakishly fast.
That's another big plus. You can actually iron that vinyl.
Yeah, well, you can iron most vinyls. It just, you can't iron the top of it because that will melt. But the backing is usually some kind of cotton or like a flannel, so you can do it as long as it's not at extremely high temps.
Excellent.
And so I'm using Decoville light, and then I'm just holding it down in seconds, like down in places for a couple seconds, and then moving my iron. Now I'm going to be we're going to put this piece aside before you do it, but I highly recommend you to let Decoville cool fully before using it. I say up to like 30 minutes at least, but sometimes if I'm making a bag and I know it's going to be in different pieces and I'm using it, I will let it cool overnight and flat on the ground, so that way it can really, the glue can adhere to it. It's a beautiful thing because Decoville light, you don't get a lot of creases. When I hear people say they get creases, I feel like maybe they didn't allow the Decoville light to cool. And that is really imperative for the glue to adhere right. At 8 seconds, it adheres pretty fast. I have a dry iron. Let's get this done. And we're going to get the lining next. And it does take a little bit of time, so just be patient with it. You know, patience is a virtue and all that. This is meant to be a slouchy bag, so I'm only using vinyl for the gusset, and that's it. This is supposed to be a very fun and slouchy bag, so keep that in mind when you're making it. If you try to use vinyl and for the main body pieces, it will become structure, not slouchy. It's supposed to be a very low structure bag, and I kind of like that. That's my favorite kind of bag style for the summer, just easy. And let me grab the lining piece. Of course, you know, whenever I'm doing something always goes MIA. But not this time. Let's see. There are pieces. Bear with me. I was organized, but things happen. There's a lot of pieces. This is why I'm a person that when I like to pin my pattern pieces or clip my pattern pieces to my items, because I am notorious for losing pattern pieces whilst sewing. Okay, I will find you. If not, I'm going to have to pause this and find you. Okay. Be right.
Go.
Okay, so these two for the inside gusset, we're going to take pattern piece G and pattern piece F and do a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my other one and do the same. Give me 1 second, because of course, nope, that I want to. That's why you always grab your tails, and so that you don't get it caught up underneath, and you can cut these, trim these excess threads. Okay, so doing the same thing on this side, putting the pieces side by side. You could pin them, clip them, so that you can make sure they're aligned. I don't have a 3/8 of an inch line on my thing, so I have wasabi tape on here. All right, so we're going to press these open. I'm going to hit it with some steam. And then we're going to sew 1/8 of an inch on both parts of the seam that you just pressed open. I'm going to probably have to change out my bobbin. I think it is not wanting to cooperate with me. I'm going to try it one more time. Or just try this. And hopefully it will all be better. I practiced on a piece of scrap, but apparently not long enough. I usually do a couple runs back and forth and make like thicker pieces so I can see how it acts. Okay. Sorry, I'm trimming out the stitches that caused a little bird nest. So we're going to sew it at 1/8 of an inch. On both sides. So we go down 1 or 2 stitches and do it on that side. Okay. Trim these threads. And we have one side done. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to press it open. And I interface this in for woven fix. And it helps makes the cotton a little bit more thicker and gives it body. It helps stabilize it. Go down. Okay, we have that. Our lining gusset. Okay, trying to get rid of all these threads. I'm going to have like a rainbow nest when I stand up. Okay, and then we're going to put these two together and sew them at 3/8 of an inch as well. And press that open. And we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch too. Make sure you back stitch a couple stitches. Okay. Make sure that's nice and flat. Press down. Right, we're going to trim our tails. Okay. So we're going to put that aside for right now. And we're going to grab our main piece. We're going to have, I just put myself dead in the eye. Okay. We're going to have a back and a front piece. I chose this to be the front, and she has you cutting out the fleece where you're going to have the zipper so it won't be bulky. So I'm going to grab one of those, not poke my eye again, hopefully, knock on wood. And I'm going to grab an exterior. This is pattern piece A. We are going to grab one of the zipper facings, and that's pattern piece K. Sorry, I have like a load of pins in each pattern. And she gives a really cool pattern piece that helps you draw out your square so that you can, rectangle, so that you can do it. You can get the stitching right. And she also gives a really good pattern for you to place your square, your rectangle. I can't talk. So you can put this down on your pattern and just line everything up so that you know, like you could put a couple clips in, adjust, and just adjust it. I'm going to use this as my flat surface, and then I'm going to stick a few pins to make sure that this doesn't shift. And on pattern piece K, it gives you the perfect box, like I said, so that you can draw your zipper pocket coming to life. I'm going to remove these clips. And let's see. So we are going to stitch out our rectangle. She has tips and tricks all throughout the bag, and we're on page 7. And I'm just going to triple check. Because once you stitch that down, it's kind of over. This is lined up perfectly. Now, when I do zippers, when I'm installing this zipper facing, I like to use a size 2 stitch. Everyone has different methods. I am not a pro by any means, but the smaller the stitch, the easier it is for you to navigate the corners, and it just gives it a really nice, crisp look, I think. So I start at the beginning, I do a couple stitches back stitch, and I'm going to follow that nice straight line that I drew. It's kind of faint, but it's in chalk. And I'm just going to take my pen, put it in my like pin cushion, and then when I get to before that last stitch, I put the needle down all the way, and then I make it go up like the needle's about to go up, and I won't get like that weird triangle stitch. Have you ever had it like where you're doing a box and all of a sudden the stitch is like skipped and it's like a slash instead of going to a square? It's usually because the needle was going up or down all the way, and it was an incomplete stitch. And just take your time. There's no rush. There's no race. No one's gonna win a prize. So go at your own speed. Getting to that last stitch. Pivot. And then I back stitch 1 or 2 stitches. And then I'm going to release it. Trim the threads. Okay. So I normally just start a nice slit. You can use your seam ripper, whatever you have available. And you could draw out the triangle or reverse triangle that you're going to make, or you can just go like me, where I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to get to that 1/2 inch mark, and I am not cutting through the stitches. I'm getting as close as possible without cutting through the stitches. If you accidentally cut through the stitches, just go over the box at a 1/8 of an inch from your previous line, and you should be okay. Okay, so when you're doing your doing this, make sure you have the sharpest scissors you have. That's my best tip. You hear everybody say, don't cut through the stitches. The sharpest scissors help tremendously. Okay, so I have my box. So what I do is this. I take my iron and I fold this part over and I hit it with steam. I do the same thing on the other side. I fold this over. You don't have to do it with steam too. I just like my free little facial when I do it. And I do the same thing on this side. I like my zipper thing to be like super crisp, so this helps tremendously. Now I'm going to flip this to the back and bring this over. And what I like to do is I start with the top. Now you can use double-sided tape to get it to stay, or you can also use like a glue stick, and you can just draw on your glue stick with it, and it'll help make it stick too. You put the fabric there. See how it's like sticking and I'm not even doing anything? Let me move the iron from just draw some glue. And you know what's really funny? The kids they just got out of school, right? So you know Target has the back to school supplies already because you know they're always like ahead. You can just get as many as glue sticks as you can. Glue sticks and cotton are like amazing together. They'll just stick. Okay, so then we have this. See how it's nice and crisp and you don't see the blue? There's no pinch corners. You can do this at home. It's once you do it, you're just like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. Like glue sticks, telling you, your friend. Let me put this down without like having the iron hit me in the lap because that has happened and it sucks. I'm like a person that constantly gets burned off of things I could have controlled. Okay. So we have this part and we're going to then we're going to grab short pocket M. L and M. And we're going to grab some zipper tape. I'm going to use bright red because why not? Okay, let's see. I was looking for a lighter actually. I usually have a bazillion around me.
It's not working.
It did like one flame. It was like, haha. There, bazillion. No, don't bell on me. Okay, so I fray the ends. I put the zipper and like do it a little bit, like an inch more than it needs. Okay. So I'm going to put this wrong side of the zipper tape to the right side of one of the block panel one of the pattern pieces in, and I'm going to sew this on. You can do 1/4 of an inch or like 1/8. It's your choice. We're not going to cut it because you don't cut into the zipper tape. You see how I frayed when I'm just cutting it off. So imagine if you cut into it. That would not be awesome. Okay. You know, with this red and blue, I'm getting like Spider-Man vibes. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our right side of our the last pocket piece and put this now. A good tip is for this next part, I'm going to be using double-sided tape, but usually when I am about to do this, I would take the iron and press this out so it's as straight as possible. I need to put it higher up so that way. What I like to do is I take the iron and I press it because the zipper tape likes to curl sometimes. and I just press it so that it stays open, like it doesn't try to curl up. And then while I'm here, I will match the piece below. If all right, my iron likes to make a lot of noise too. I should put like a stool or something over here by this so I don't. It's getting caught in wires. You're okay, little iron. You're okay. All right, so we have pattern piece M. Yeah. And I'm going to use some double-sided tape that on my you can use 1/8 of an inch, but I can't find it, so I'm gonna use my 1/4. And there's different variations. There are machine washable, like Wonder Tape that won't gum up your needles. I'm just using some regular no-name brand 1/4 of an inch double-sided tape. If my needle gets gummed up, I do have alcohol wipes right beside it, so I can clean that right up. Then I'm going to put a zipper pull on here. And let me show you how I do this. Let me show you how I do this. I just take my zipper tape. What camera are you guys on?
Right here.
Okay. We take your zipper tape and we're going to take the zipper head and put it on one side and then the other. So see how I'm trying to make it even, and then I just push it down and you'll hear a click. Once you hear that click, I put my finger wrapped around it and I just push it in. Super magic. Let's see. I'm going to remove my double-sided tape and I'm going to place it on this. Now what I like to do is I like to find the center of the teeth and match it to the center, one center at a time. Try to center it the best you can. That's the great thing about double-sided tape. You can just like keep repositioning it. Have your pull go from right to left, left to right. There's no right or wrong answer. And then we are going to, you can, okay, this pattern says to do this, to take your pieces and separate them like this. So I'm going to pop some clips right here so this top part can stay. And then we're going to do our box. I'm just going to see, my double-sided tape is not super sticky. We're going to do a box around this part. So we're going to start stitching 1/16 from the edge and put your needle down when you get to the corner, and we're going to go up and around. So let's have some fun. I'm going to go to a 2.5 stitch because my previous stitch was at 2 to install the zipper. Get the needle. And hold on to your tails and back stitch a few stitches. 1/16 could be tedious, but you could do this. If you're going to stop, don't do what I do and have the needle down. I'm going to go one more stitch all the way down, like it's going up, pivot while the needle's in it, and we're going to go across. And then one more stitch. Okay. I'm just making sure that blue from the zipper facing doesn't pop through all the way. That's why the zipper facing matching the fabric is super helpful, just in case it does poke through. It could just look kind of effortless and clean. Okay, then we're going to pivot. We're done with that part. Trim threads. Okay. And it's a nice clean. And then we're going to be on page 9. And we are going to close down the sides. You want to get this little triangle from making the box. You want to really get that. You could double stitch on that. Just it adds security. And we're in a back stitch. And we're going to go on the other side. I'm trimming threads as I go, so that way when we do install the gusset or whatever, it just won't have a whole bunch of threads hanging around. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. And then we are going to close this. Do not catch the main zipper panel, and we're going to trim any leftover zipper tape, and then we're going to close this. Okay, and we're going to trim this little zipper tape over here. Oh, I didn't catch this side. Okay. Okay. So we have a nice zipper that opens and closes. All right, so we're going to now take this main panel and we're going to make markings. We want a center marking. So what I like to do with that is like I pop a few clips, pens, whatever. If it's cotton, you can use pens. If it's not, then your discretion. We're going to make a center mark. And then another mark. 2 7/8. Let's see. These markings are super important because the bag is a very unique structure. Two and 7/8. Triple check your marks. You marked it off white. That's why I used the white pen, because it's easy to come off. Okay. I'm going to grab our gusset. We're gonna need to mark our centers. So you fold that in half. And let's see. And let me just grab the other panel real quick and do the same markings. And then we're going to start putting this exterior together. I like the exterior. It's like simple and beautiful and just real easy going. You can always like do like little snips if that's easier for you. It's easier for me just to use a white chalk pen. Especially when a print like this is so colorful, like all right, put my ruler, my chalk pen, and then we're going to go to page 10, and we're going to put this on together. I always like to do the main panel that's going to be seen from the outside first, so that way I can check to make sure everything matches up nicely. Grab some clips. And we're going to get ready to go. So we're going to just start clipping along. I like to use a lot of clips because I hate when a bag shifts. Like, and the fewer clips I use, I feel like the more the bag shifts. Oh, her Gusset lines up perfectly. Okay, so like I always get a huge like, oh my god, designer moment when somebody can do, like when someone can actually have a gusset that fits nice and that you don't have to like clip a whole bunch of seams and into your seams and whatnot or into the gusset. It just makes your job a whole lot easier and less stressful, because you want the exterior of the bag to look amazing, so you don't want any wrinkles or anything showing. So I'm just going to stick some clips. I don't want anything to shift. And that's why also the exterior with the Decaville light, it gives you a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, like, so that way you don't have that bulk. So this will be a dream on a domestic machine. All right, so I have everything clipped. I'm going to start sewing the exterior down at 3/8 of an inch, starting and stopping at 3/8 of an inch, and we're gonna go. Making sure it lines up. Couple stitch back. If you're having a tough time, you can use an owl or a purple thing, or whatever is convenient for you. Okay, the back's not complete, and this is my first time using this vinyl, and I got to tell you, it kind of sews up like a dream. I'm using a narrow foot, so that should speak volumes. Okay, and trimming those threads. And I like to, I know this sounds silly, but I love to poke it out just to make sure that there's no crinkles or wrinkles. Oh my god, this back's gonna be super cute. All right, let's do the other exterior part. And then I'm going to match all the marks that I made. Okay, and then I'm just going to start clipping. Oh, sorry if I sound congested. I've had a sinus infection like for a long time. I am on medicine. I am feeling better, but the last few days has been brutal. I have like chronic sinuses, so I'm used to sinusitis, so I'm kind of used to getting sinus infections, but this one was not it. I mean, no sinus infection is fun, but this one just was being a little donkey and not being nice. Thread. I'm not using pins because it's vinyl, but when I do the lining, I will use these magic pens because you can sew over them. And they're also heat resistant. They really are magic until they bend, and then you're like, oh man, I just paid $1 million for these pens and it's bent. But when they're good, oh man, they're good. Okay. See how it's just like sitting perfectly? That's a sign of a good designer. I'm telling you. My favorite is just a designer that really knows how to make a gusset sit. And I'm making sure everything is pinned down. And we are going to start sewing. 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch again, beginning and end. Okay. Take the curve slow, one stitch at a time. Okay. Okay, so we have our exterior all set. We're going to set this aside and we're going to start on our lining. With our lining, we're going to need pocket zipper facing K, and short pocket M and L, and we need the bottom pattern of E. So zipper face K, one of the pocket pieces E, and we need L. And then okay. All right. So we have our pocket. That puppy's crying for me already. He hears my voice. Okay. So with this down, we're not going to stitch the bottom of this pocket because we're going to use it to help pull out the bag. We are going to place K and my husband's laughing because he thinks it's cute. We're going to place piece K. We're going to do it 5 inches from the bottom. So I'm going to crease my fabric to get a center. Just using my nail. You can use a boning. You see how I have a crease. And we're going to go 5 inches up. And we're going to place our zipper facing on it. I'm going to put a crease on my zipper facing. And then I'm going to match the crease that I placed in the pocket thing. I'm going to stick a pin. Making sure it stays lined up at 5. And stick another pin on this side. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to bump this down to a 2. We're going to stitch this pocket. So again, same technique. This is one of the techniques I've learned. It just smaller stitches really kind of help with the pocket so it doesn't have that puckered in sides. And pattern piece K gives you the pattern to the lines that you need to make this pocket. Going on down the stitch. Okay. I also, when I was reading this pattern, the reason why I was really intrigued with it, I'm a person that I love the outsides of the bag, but it's the inside that counts. Any of my customers, the first thing they ask for is pockets and like cool things like water bottle holders, this. So this pocket has a lot of cool and unusual linings that I have that I don't see on regular bags. Okay. Okay. Trim threads. Pair of scissors. Let's see. When you get about halfway, you kind of bow out to the V, not cutting the stitches. You could draw the V. I normally do too, but my mechanical pencil that has chalk is not acting right, so I'm eyeballing it. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the ironing board real quick. Okay, and then I am going to press this I promise you, I know it's a lot of effort, but if you're like, hey, my zipper facings don't work, I'm telling pressing does wonders because the heat helps shrink the polyester and cotton helps sets it, and then it just makes your life a whole lot easier. Trim this thread, and then because this is a white background, you might be able to see it better when I glue stick. You can just draw on your glue stick a bead of glue. And then I'm going to I like the purple changing ones that you get from back to school though, because it shows you when it's dry and kind of tacky. You're just going to pull this through, and the glue is going to help. Okay. And it just helps out tremendously. And then just, you can press it again, just as long as it stays, you should be okay. And then I just bring it over to the front and just give it a good press on the front. See, it doesn't really pucker in, it's just, it works. Okay, so we're gonna do the same zipper method as we did last time. We're gonna grab some zipper tape. And we're going to make sure the edges don't fray. And I like to just like have a half an inch to an inch of zipper tape on the side so it can be easier. We're gonna bump up the stitches to a 3 again. And then to get closer, I just cut off the zipper tape. Get those ends. I wish like my threads would just automatically come off by itself, but I know that's or like have Cinderella mice that do the snipping of threads. I think that is, everybody has like a least or favorite part they like about sewing. I hate cutting zipper tail ends like when you're done sewing. So what is your favorite thing and what is your least favorite thing? I like installing zippers. That's weirdly one of my favorite things to do.
Cutting out patterns.
Oh yeah, I would, if I could have a fabric person that can just cut out all the patterns. But then I don't know. I have like a weird control thing, and if the person doesn't cut it out like exactly how I want it, I'd probably like, I'll be happy they did it, but I guess sad that it didn't get done the way I want it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because like when you make is a lot of bags, you have like modifications that you want for yourself, and if someone doesn't cut it out, it can be frustrating. Okay, and I'm going to slowly put this back down. I say this slowly, I'm just trying to make sure I don't drop it.
Or burn yourself.
Or burn myself, because burning myself is actually a weird norm. Okay, so 1/4 of an inch zipper tape. Okay. grab something to drink. If you're sewing along with me, drink, hydrate. What are you looking at? Oh, watching my husband do something. You know how your workroom or your work area is like, even if it's a hot mess, it's your chaos,
It's
so
your
you
sacred
understand.
grounds. I know, honey. I know.
It's like my own chaos I'm used to. Or when something moves, like when you have something new and you put it in a different place, you just, oh. So zipper again, I'm putting the head on one side and then I'm lifting it up. Trying not to get the zipper tape on my arm. Threading the other side. And I push and it kind of is like a weird click. And then I just push it down. Okay. Try to center the zipper tape to the middle. Okay. It looks pretty good to me. So we are going to do the same thing. Open it up. And we're going to sew all the way around. Moving your position of your trying to talk and you say we're gonna move your I was at a 2 for the zipper installing it. Now I'm going back to a 3. Few steps, back stitch. And I'm going to pivot here, so I'm going to put the needle down. Going to pivot here. Do a few back stitches here. Oops, pulling out all the thing. Bring this down, and we're going to sew up the sides, but we are not going to close up the bottom yet, just yet. We're going to, like I said, pull our threads to the we're going to pull our back through this opening. If I can talk, it would be awesome. Let's see. We are going to just do the sides, and we're going to make sure we get over this triangle, hit it with a couple back stitches. It just to give it anchoring stitches. the same thing on this side. Okay. And I'm just going to trim off the excess zipper tape. Like I said, leave this pocket open. All right. We're done with that part. Then we're going to grab piece E without the zipper. Because everything falls behind me. Piece E. And we're going to grab piece N. I think that's the one that fell behind me. Both pieces. And we're going to grab the elastic. Let's see. The 15 inches. Okay. So I'm going to put piece E to the side. We're going to take one piece of the elastic pocket and has woven interface, the other doesn't. So we're going to place them right sides together. And let's see. We're going to line piece N and we're going to put them right sides together at 1/4 of an inch. Back stitch. This part I was kind of nervous about when I was reading, because I was like, oh, I've never done an elastic pocket like this. Great scale, great new technique. Snipping the threads, and then we're going to press this open. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Put piece E behind me real quick. Press this seam open. I'm just using my fingers and trying to get this as pressed open as best I can. I'm using purple Kona fabric that I got from Joann's. I like the Kona one. Not a huge fan of the Country one. Their brand, it shrinks incredibly bad. Like whenever I'm pressing, washing it or whatever, that can be super frustrating because like you wash the pieces, you already steamed them with the interfacing, or you prepped them with ironing. Then when you go to iron them again during your bag making and it shrinks even more, you're just like, okay. If you have a seam roller and don't want to press it out, you could do that too. I have the iron by me, so why not kind of scenario. Let's see. Okay. So that's all pressed. Then we're going to bring wrong sides together. And we're going to make a 1-inch pocket. I'm really wishing I would have made room on the cabinet pull up. I'm playing literally Jenga with, am I going to get burned or not?
More Jenga.
Okay, so I'm going to put the seams down. I'm going to go use a 1-inch ruler, and I'm going to get a white chalk pen so you can see the line. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pop a few clips where the area that I am measuring out right. Because one piece doesn't have stabilizer, the non-stabilizer piece automatically wants to roll up. And we're just not allowing that. So I'm going to grab a 1-inch ruler. Get my chalk pen. It's not a pen. I don't know why I don't know. It doesn't, my Clover chalk pencil pen. I mean, I don't know. It's the pencil one looks so different from the roller. All right. So we're going to stitch a line. Before we do that, we're going to do a 1/8 of an inch on the top. I should have did that before I did the 1-inch line, but it is what it is, right? It'll be okay because the chalk pen roller pen thing is really bulky, so I bet this is going to show 1 inch. Okay, so we're going to now go over this 1-inch mark. And I'm just following the line in between the foot of my presser foot. And weirdly, it's at the 1-inch mark. Exactly, I have a 1-inch mark. Okay. We did that. And now you're going to turn over to the right side, flatten it out, and we're going to make the pleats stitches. Let's see. Oh, we're going to, sorry, base this whole thing closed too. I'm bad. Like, I know you can do a bigger stitch for base, but I don't know if it's like lazy or what it is, but I just keep it in the same stitch. Okay. Paste this down real quick. Okay. Yeah, I should have based on the top of this so I can pull out the elastic, but that's okay. It's like 6 stitches, so I'll just cut them out. I didn't do it on the other side because I've noticed that you weren't supposed to do it, but that's the mistakes we make, right? I hate when it's like a simple mistake. You're like, duh, how's the elastic gonna go through? Okay. All right, let's see. There's marks on pattern piece in that I am going to make with my chalk pen. It would help if I did this the right way. I'm going to clip the pattern piece onto it real quick. Draw these lines. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's see. We're going to take this and match it here and move all these threads that decided to appear, because that's what happens. Here. Take this first pleat to the second, to its second line here. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm reading the things. Turn over to the right side, flat double pleat. Base the stitches of the pleat to make them stay. I have, as you can tell, I haven't made this pleat before, so bear with me. Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read these instructions. Give me 1 second.
Cool.
Okay, so with the lining side facing forward, the lining side, my drawer, my desk is like making like a bump. With the lining side, this is step 35. The non-interface side facing to us, we're going to line up the markings that were on the pattern piece, front and back. We're going to make the two lines merge like I'm doing here, and also trying to snip threads at the same time because apparently I'm a thread monster. And we're going to stitch up the line that is drawn the 3/8 of an inch within the seam allowance. Triple checking to make sure the lining's good. And stay within the 3-inch seam allowance and stitch forward and back. Sorry for the shaky view. Alright, and then we're going to do that on this side as well. Just that 3/8 of an inch. It's a really short stitch. Okay. So then with the turning it to the right side, we're going to flatten out our pieces and we're going to make pleats. So right now, like it's like a little hole. If you see this right here. And then we're just going to flatten it out. I'm going to put a couple clips there. And kind of crease it. We're making a pleat. We're not going to stitch up here. I'm just going to keep it here for visual purposes. I actually think this is going to be a really cool pocket. I like pockets that expand in case like I have to stick water bottles or what have you. We're going to do it again on this side. We're going to make our pleat. We're going to open up that little hole. And be careful because it's only a 3/8 of an inch mark that's holding it. It could just divide it in half. Press it down. Pop a few clips in. And we're going to kind of see, oh, we made pleats. That's so cute. Okay, we're going to now base the bottom of this to keep the pleats. I'm just going to bring the stitch all the way through to the bottom of this. It's not going to hurt because it's cotton, so it won't perforate. Alright. Alright, so what we're going to do now is on step 37, we're going to take a 15-inch piece of elastic and we're going to bring it through. So I'm going to move these clips. That's why we didn't stitch on top. You can use a safety pen. You can use numerous different things. I'm going to use a bodkin and like a cheap one. I'm going to kind of just put a soft knot in this. And I'm sorry if there's an echo of my voice. Give me a moment. We're going to feed this through. You kind of just like scrunch it up. Feed it through. Scrunch it up. Feed it through. And don't let the bodkin tail disappear into the fabric. Because then you're going to be like mad. I mean, not the bodkin tail, the elastic tail, because you're going to be like, what? Like, see how mine's almost went? So I'm just going to take some clips and I'm going to hold that area as I'm going to let this area go in a little bit and I'm going to tack it down because I have already had that experience where this happens and it's not fun. Okay, now I'm going to continue to scrunch. Bring the bodkin out. Ooh, it popped. I'm glad I caught that. I would have been like, no. Okay. I'm going to tack this side down here. And I'm going to try to evenly distribute, like how I evenly distribute, I try to just pull both sides so the elastic can just go evenly throughout it. Oh, this is so cute. So we have our pleats, we have our little crinkles, and then we're going to get our pocket piece E. Move the block pin back. I always lose that, like always. I used to have like a really cool one, and I don't have it anymore. Trim all the tail threads. Your piece is not going to want to lay flat. That's perfectly natural. Just clip it the best you can around your pattern piece. I'm doing the bottom first, lining up everything, making sure everything fits, and then I do the top. So we're going to machine base this all the way around. Okay. Okay. We got that part done. All right. So remember that line that we had, those two lines that we marked? We're going to split this pocket down the center. And because this machine is not a zigzag, doesn't have a zigzag, I'm going to show you how you're going to keep this without it pulling. So I like to start from the bottom of the thing, and I do like a heavy back stitch. And then what I do from here is, as I'm going up, I'm going to put my needle down on the 1 inch thread line that we made, and I'm going to turn the fabric, and I'm going to go forward a few, like not even a half inch, and just put a few bar tacks there. And then I'm going to put my needle back down onto that white choco line that I made. We're going to go up. And I like to do 1 stitch above this line so that it catches the lining. I like to go back, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a couple bar tacks. You can draw this out ahead of time. I usually do a half of an inch, but by doing these bar tacks, this area gets a lot of strain. So by putting these bar tacks on here, it's going to help like not have the threads pop out or what have you. So just very simple. If you make dresses or you make clothes, and you're probably real familiar with the bar tack system. It works good on bags too, especially because if you put a rivet in the elastic, it can compromise the elastic very much to the nylon zipper. If one piece of the not interfacing, but one piece of the fabric shreds, the whole thing starts unraveling, and that's super unfortunate. Okay, so we're going to grab, we're almost there. We're at the home stretch. We're going to grab our, where did I put you? We're going to grab our lining. And our elastic. I promise it's not one thing, it is another. I have it. Bear with me, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I got it. Here, we're going to take, not drop stuff, we're going to take a piece of string. I don't have, normally I would just use like the Tech 70 or whatever. I'm going to use this scrap piece of twill. We're going to take our gusset piece. We're going to fold it right sides together. You could put some clips in it. And we're not going to sew the twill in it. We want one side to have the knot. We're going to stitch where the knot is. Hold on, I did that wrong. Okay, so we're going to stitch where the knot is. No, I did it right. Don't doubt yourself, Nova. Okay, we're going to sew this tube at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Again, this is the reason why she has you doing it with strings, because you don't want to sew into that twill tape and then it's all messed up. And then make sure you back stitch really well. And we're going to take this, and if I did this right, I can pull this to go right sides together. Hold on. I actually had to pick difficult material. Okay. So I tried to improvise because I didn't find my exact thing. You're gonna see me MacGyver this real quick. I need a piece of cotton so I can cut out a 12x2. Is my blue fabric on top of that cutting table? So I tried to do waterproof canvas and that was a no bueno. Oops, don't. No? No. Okay. Bear with me. Alright. This probably works a whole lot better. Okay. Use my ruler. Like, I hate when I have like a piece that I know I made. I have a really figured it out. Oh my god. Here, yeah. Okay, so if you lose it, you need to take out some stitches or see if you're able to redo it. That's why I like safety pins versus the bodkins sometimes, because sometimes the bodkins just get loose real fast. This elastic gusset strap is optional, but I think it's an option you definitely want to take. It can hold a bottle, like a water bottle, and or something, anything pretty much you want to drink, a baby bottle, or it can be a zip cup in it, or it can be a shot of whiskey just in case. You never know when you need it. So I'm just gonna tack that down. I didn't tack that down good enough. I have all these loose threads. Okay. So where this is going to go onto the lining, and this is going to go, how many inches down? Huh? It kind of looks like a scrunchie right now. Let's see. So I'm just going to make a mark about 4 inches down on from the lip of the purple lining, and then I'm going to tack it down. I think this is a really cool option. I just have never seen anyone have that as an option, and it's actually really great because I don't know about you, when I get, like, if I'm on the go, I'll stick everything in my purse, water bottle, Coke, whatever. Me and Coca-Cola are best friends, so to have an area where I can put like a bottle or something is pretty cool. Let's see. All right, I'm going to put this on this other side, and we're going to bar tack that down. Okay, get all these extra burrs off of it. Man, okay, we have that. So let's go on page 15. We're gonna start putting the zipper together. You need a 20-inch zipper. At least 20 inches. And I'm going to cut it out. And burn it. It would help if I can cut even too. I'm telling you, tonight is not my night. I have these days, and anyone that pretends that they don't, or they do, I don't know what to even say. Like, I think everyone has these days. Okay, so we're going to put our zipper tape at a 90-degree angle. What I personally like doing is I like to mark it out. I like to do like 1 inch as like, not a seam allowance, but just a point. Now you can hand sew it. I've seen this really cool thing with, and I always try to do it before I tack it with a needle and thread, is that you could melt this with a, but when I see people do it, it never works for me. It's really weird. I'm gonna try it one more time and not try to burn my fingers. Probably looking at it like, that is so close to your fingernail, Genova. And okay, it's not gonna work. I'm just going to grab some thread and bar tack it. It doesn't take a lot of thread. Just, it's a regular needle I always have on my machine, and I just fold it over like this, and I put a couple of stitches in it, just enough so it can hold its place. You won't see it. It's within the zipper allowance. Okay, and do it on the other side. I'm not even putting a knot. Just kind of create its own knot when you put a okay. Trim the threads. Okay. All right. So we have that part. We're going to put we need PC to do a zipper in. Zipper in part. Just one. I promise you, this is so weird. I have no idea. Oh my god, I'm looking just at it. Okay, PC, we're going to on PC, we're going to fold grab my iron real quick. Fold the short ends by 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to iron the short ends for 3/8 of an inch in. You can eyeball it, but the way she has you put the stabilizer in, it helps tremendously because it gives you that seam allowance. And we're going to do the same on this side. Then we're going to fold this in half on itself. Again, this is a perfect opportunity also to try the glue if that works for you. Then we're going to take the zipper put this down here. Without it getting caught on the wires. Just like one time. Alright, so we're going to take the end. It would help if you put a zipper pull on it too, so that way you're not like, what? Why can't I access the bag? What's going on? So we're going to put the zipper and put it on. We're going to fold this in half, over it on itself. And we're going to stitch this box. So what I like to do is I like to start with the top. And make sure you back stitch. You take a pin or owl and just make sure that all the little fabrics that want to poke out don't. And we're going to just one more top stitch across for good measure. Back stitch, and we have our beautiful zipper end. Told you we're at the home stretch right now. We're going to start installing the lining, and it's from there, it's amazing. Well, I mean, it's amazing, period. So we're going to grab our zipper for our gusset zippers. There's 4 pieces. I'm going for blue. Okay. We are going to do 1/8 of the zipper, and it's going to be 1/4 of an inch. Three-eighths of an inch away. I'm going to grab my pen. And you can use fabric glue or you can glue base to keep this on. You're going to sew this first one at lining sides faced up, zippers facing up, so the wrong side is going to lay on the right side. It's 3/8 of an inch away. We're going to base this on at a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then we're going to grab, trim. The reason why I always say trim, like a back stitch, is not only to remind you, but to remind me. And this is the most important part, like when you can get like little bird nests and things like that when you don't you have loose threads hanging around. They can get caught up into other things. Then we're going to sandwich this, and we're going to stitch at 3/8 of an inch. Now you could pop, what I like to do if I don't want to use an excess amount of clips or pins, I like to do it at the very top and the very bottom, so the fabric I know is even at all times. So we're going to sandwich the zipper in. We're going to sew at 3/8 of an inch. We're going to back stitch the beginning and end. I'm going to just move the zipper out of the way. That's why having a longer zipper tape helps, because it won't get in your way. Okay. Same thing. Then we're going to put these two together. I'm just making the ends meet. Making sure the lining and the top fabric is kind of pulled taut. And let's see. I'm going to base this 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay, let's get this other side done. Three-eighths of an inch. Making a mark. Then we're going to do this side. Facing this, the lining, we're just repeating what we first did. Putting right sides together. Clipping. Not losing clips in the process would be nice too. Okay. 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch. Okay, let's top stitch and base on the sides at 1/8 of an inch. Man, this fabric phrase. This one's not, the blue one is not Coning Cotton. It's the country one from Joann. I'm telling you, sometimes getting those deals, you don't know what you're getting fabric-wise. Okay. We have our zipper panel complete with fraying action and all. Okay. Then we're going to find our centers. And when I do these, I usually just make a small little V to ensure it's the same on both sides. Okay, and we're going to take the pocket. Okay. We're going to take the pocket that has the nice foldings. We're going to put right sides. Trying to get my center here. So we're going to put this right sides up. We're going to take our zipper and we're going to match. So the wrong side of the zipper pocket is on this side. Pop in a couple clips and we're going to place this at 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Then we're going to grab, we're going to get this other zipper panel. For the essential pocket. And we're going to find our centers. We are going to put this on here and we are going to sew it across at 1/4 of an inch. Pay attention to her measurements. There's a rhyme and reason, and just go with it. It's all part of the process. And when I seen this in the pattern, I was like, what are we gonna do? Okay. Okay, now we're gonna press the fabric pocket away like this from here, and we're going to top stitch. Hold on. We're only going to top stitch the essential pocket at 1/8 of an inch. Not the zipper panel, but the pocket. You're probably now realizing that's why Shinova always makes a bag before she goes live. Because I will read instruction like 100 times just to make sure I have it right. We're only top stitching this essential pocket. And this is the thing, like, when have you seen a pocket above the zipper placket? Okay, now place the second panel right sides on top, matching the bottom edge, and sew a stitch a 3/8 of an inch. So we're going to grab the other pocket piece, which is right in front of me. We're going to grab pattern piece B. Finding our centers. We're going to put right sides together. Find your notches. And then we're going to sew this at 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Oops. So if I shook you, I'm so sorry. All right. We're going to push this forward. We're going to top stitch, but we're going to top stitch, starting and ending 3/8 of an inch from each end. So I'm going to make a mark with my chalk pencil, 3/8 of an inch. Because that's how we're starting and stopping this top stitch there. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go to page 18. And we're going to take our pocket panel piece. Can you just lay flat for a second? Just 1 second. We're going to clip this right sides together. I'm going to start on the sides. It's kind of hard because the pocket still doesn't want to lay flat because of that elastic, but it's gonna all make sense in a minute. So we're gonna put this right sides together, and we're going to stitch from the 3/8 of an inch mark that we didn't do before, and stitched across the panel, like, but we're not going to go across here. We're going to start at that 3/8 of an inch mark and stitch. So I'm going to start here. I should have actually, nope, yeah, start on the, always start at the top. Don't go backwards. Okay. So I'm going to make sure these are super lined up. Let's go 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch. And then I'm going to just bring my threads to meet me at the end because I'm going to trim them anyway, so I might as well make it convenient. We're going to go 3/8 of an inch, right where we left off. Okay. I'm going to trim these threads. Okay. So if we look at it this side up, here's our zipper. We close, where our bag is closed, we have now a hidden pocket that's in between. Like, it's pretty cool. So what we do now is we're going to put magnets on the pockets. And then we're going to stitch it across. We're going to do 1 inch. Yes. So I'm just going to be marking where the placement's going to be. So it's 1 inch from the top seam and 3/4 of an inch in. So I'm just going around and making my dots. You're going to see me install some magnets. There's some, like I said, they're pretty cool techniques. And then I'm going to do it on this side. I never seen a pocket that had a hidden like pocket, like where you could throw your cell phone in. All right, so I have my dots. I am going to get my magnets. I'm actually gonna put in one, I think, just one magnet. But you could glue, she has a thing where she glues those clear magnets, but you also can use like a regular flat magnet. You could just find your center and just mark it 1 inch down, because you put that clip mark. So I'm just going to take this washer, poke a couple holes. Do I not have a blade in that one? I'm telling you, I need a lottery ticket or something, because I am batting 1,000. See. Every time I poke holes in cotton, I like to use fray check. I'm a person that's always really, and my fray check just wanted to leak everywhere. I'm a person that just really doesn't want my fabric to have like a tear because of it, and I mean fray check works really well. And then you also have like your woven interface that you made on there. Okay, and then you do this other side. You could do the 2, but I honestly think the 1 is just as well, because it what it does is it closes the pocket completely, so that way no one knows you have it there. Like, put cell phones and candy, you know. I'm all for candy in your bag. And a secret compartment makes it even cooler. Have you guys ever lost the washers too? Like, I know I just used it. Okay.
I didn't hear her see it fall.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, it's like a
pocket,
magic gremlin that's in my.
It didn't fall in the pocket, did it? The pocket of it.
But the pocket's not closed yet.
No.
I literally. Oh, okay. I'm glad you're here. You're lucky today. In this bag. Okay, so weird thing. When I went to sew the panels, I did not, for some odd reason, sew the 3/8 of an inch on the top. I have no idea why. It's just, this is really weird. I know this bag is going to come out fantastic because all I did is mess up. And usually when I mess up, there's the better bags. Usually when I'm super confident, those bags never come out great. So you need to put a 3/8 inch seam allowance marking on the inside of your bag in between the seams, so you know you're going right. We're gonna top stitch just a 3/8 of an inch all the way around. And because this bag is floppy and soft and pliable, you can just kind of smush it and it'll be out of your way. All right. So let's start. 3/8 of an inch. Make sure your seams are flat so it won't be that bulky for you. Take your time around the curves. Use a lot of clips or hardly none. You can use, if you're using all cotton like me, you can actually use pens. Keep those 4 seams open so that can help reduce the bulk when you're top stitching. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, we have that, and then we're going to trim down the seam allowance to 1/8 of an inch. because I'm using all cotton, I am going to grab my pinking shears so it can be nice and even. Do not cut into the stitch. Now, if you do by accident, again, you can just go over your stitches by 1/8 of an inch and you'll be fine. Your bag may be a little bit shorter because you're going underneath it, but it won't be a total loss. Nobody would know. Nobody would know. You don't have to use pinking shears. It's just something that I like to do because when I sew the top, then it just spreads out the bulk even more. Okay, we're almost there. Okay. Get my pen clean off, and then we're going to open the bag by using this zipper here. And because the bag is really soft, you could just like pull this out, which is super nice. Not a bad birthing process at all. And I'm just pulling out the lining, and then I'm going to tuck everything back in. Rope right. Let's see. Just stick my hands in there. And what I'm going to do is take a bone finger and I'm going to stick it in the lining to poke out beautiful curves of this bag. And it helps because when you just want to get every wrinkle or fabric that's collapsing on itself out. Because this has a really beautiful shape to it. Okay. Oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Okay, so we are going to top stitch closely to the edge. And I am just still rolling my fingers over it, and I'm going to clip the areas that I know they're gonna want to roll before I do this top stitch. Just a few clips. And then we're going to make the handles. Then we're going to install grommets, and we're going to be all done. Okay, like I said in the beginning of the video, grommets are measured by the inner circle diameter. Most of the time, what I've noticed in back making, I don't know everything, but what I've noticed is usually like a 1/2 inch diameter that people want. So when you're searching, definitely look for those. Also, maybe if you want, pick up like a kit that has like multiple, because then you can try something different, you know, different shapes, different diameters. Okay, let's go. We're gonna top stitch. I'm topping stitch to the very closest of the edge, like 1/8 of an inch. Just breathe. It won't, you got this. If you're worried, pick top and bobbin threads that match the fabric incredibly well. And I'm at like a 3.5 for the top. I like a little longer top stitching. Sometimes I like really short stitches though, too. I don't know, it looks really intricate. I'm just smushing my bag, making sure that the zipper doesn't get in the way. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's all done. And we're going to take this lining zipper of the zipper and we're going to shut that. I just pulled the pocket out and I'm just sewing 1/8 of an inch to close off the sew. And I just ran out of bobbin thread. I mean, it was a matter of time, right? Let's see. I do have another bobbin wound. Okay. When this happens, when you're sewing, I try to go back 2 or 3 stitches from where the thread magically wanted to disappear, and wait, and then I just go back. Man, but I won bobbin chicken for top stitching though. That's pretty cool. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm tucking the pocket in, and I'm going to grab our handles, and I am going to use the same faux leather for the handles. I just thought it'll be super cool. Okay. Place the strip over. I didn't use fusible fleeces. I'm using vinyl. All right. Take. Let's see. I didn't have 44 inches. So what I'm going to do is base these two strips together so it won't have that much bulk. Okay, and now we're going to place these two, we're going to put the center together, and I'm going to take some double-sided tape and I'm going to put it on this part. I want to like separate the bulk so it doesn't, it just looks better that way when the bulk is evenly distributed because you won't see where it begin and end. So then I'm going to if I was ironing it, it would just fold onto each other, but because I had to be difficult and shoot and want the vinyl, because the vinyl is so pretty that I wanted it for my handle too. So we shall see if this goes like I planned. If it does, then I'll be really happy. If it doesn't, I will figure something out. Now we're gonna have a 44 inches long, 1.5 inch strap when we are done. So I'm taking the DSD, running it on the edge of it, and then I'm going to pull away this DSD and bring it to the center. And because I'm using vinyl, I need to like leave a 1/16 gap so that way it won't like be both on one side and not the other. I'm going to do this on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to sew 1/8 of an inch down both sides. And because I'm using vinyl, I'm definitely bumping it to a 3.5, or I'll do a 4. Okay. And let's do the other side. I always do like the side that's open first, and then I kind of just like let it fly on the side that doesn't have an opening. Okay, so we're done with sewing both sides of this. We have a beautiful strap. And now we're going to take our strap grip and iron it. We're going to fold, man, that's some serious thread. We're going to fold, not put the vinyl on the iron, shove it, come on now. Basic rules. We're going to fold down the short edges by 1.5. I mean, not 1.5, by 1/2 inch. I can't talk today either. Okay, and we're going to do the other side. And again, Anna's really clever because the way she has you put in your interfacing, you can just see where you have to fold. Okay. We fold those in half, and then we're going to sew a tube. Let me put this down. Okay, so next time I'm definitely going to do something different, because this is kind of nuts, and I'm not trying to get burned. Okay, so we're going to fold this as a tube and leave a 1-inch opening. 1-inch opening in the middle. Okay, so we're going to top stitch this grip at and top stitch here. going to top stitch the long edges at 3/8 of an inch, but we're going to leave a 1 inch opening. So make sure you back stitch really well. Okay, so we're going to bring the iron again. Because we're going to press open our seams and then press open our seams. Do you hear echo? Because I hear echo. We're going to turn this right sides out. Trim as much as don't forget to trim your threads. I used to have like a really cool turning tool, and I'm trying to see if I have it still. If not, I almost got this. There's turning tool tubes, using a chopstick. There's many different ways. Okay, and then I'm going to iron this. Okay. And then what we're going to do is put this in the middle of the strap. And there's measurements on how far it's supposed to go. You just mark those with a chalk pen. And alright. So I'm gonna slide this tube on. Okay, so the tube's right there in the middle. And then now we're going to put grommets in. Now, I know grommets could be hard and kind of scary to put in, but I'm just gonna walk you through this. So normally when I put in grommets, I have my floor in my workroom is a basement. So it's a basement, so it's all concrete. So what I normally do is I would do a hole punch. This is for a 1/2 inch. I would do a hole punch, like through the fabric. Like if this was the fabric, I would take my hammer and I'll do a hole punch, a very clean one, and call it a day. I even have a bigger one that I use and it cleans cut through. But because it's pretty late at night, I am going to use my press. Now, you can get press plates pretty much anywhere where you get your rivets. And like press plates help you punch the hole evenly and through all layers of fabric. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the grommets. Is my blue ruler over there?
A blue ruler? No.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I found it. It's on the table.
Okay.
See? All right, so Anne has us doing the measurements. Okay, so I'm going to go from the side seam. Let's see, and I'm going to make a mark. Let's see, I'm trying to find something that can mark better, that I can see through this fabric. It's like really dark, but I will prevail. I'm going to all right, I think I made that mark real well. I made it like a little T shape, like X marks the spot kind of scenario. Okay, so I have this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place both sides together. I'm going to go into the center of my mark, and you can get these dies off of Amazon. I will list them down below. And I'm going to move this so I can put my weight distributed evenly on it. I'm going to put another clip. Just making sure that these are even as possible. You can do it separate, but I just find that if they have the same exact hole at the same time, it makes life easier. And you heard it was like a popping sound, and it goes through the fabric, and sometimes you have to snip, but I have a perfect hole, right? So now I'm gonna do it on the other side. I got these press plates a long time ago, but I know like for my Mikas and Margot, they offer press plates, but that's for my rivet. I'm not too sure about cam snaps, but I'm pretty sure like anyone that has a rivet store, a grommet store, or not a grommet, yeah, a rivet, one of these little rivet dudes. I'm pretty sure they would have press plates. They're really, really useful. Okay, so we're not done with these press plates. We're going to be putting in these force. They're called force grommets because they need a force to lock them in. So what I do first is not fling everything everywhere. I like to put fray check around in that circle, especially again, we're working with cotton, anything that can help prevent it from fraying. It fits nice and clean in this hole, and then I'm going to literally, you can kind of snap it in place a little bit, and they kind of snap in place. I'm going to use the same press I did. I'm going to use a, what is that little piece of paper? Not paper, fabric. Okay, so I'm going to use this fabric so that way this metal part won't scratch up this hardware. And they just kind of get forced together. You can do it with a small hammer, but these force plates work just so good with it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on all four sides as soon as I find all four grommets. Okay, they all fell. I got them. Okay, so we're going to put some fray check. I'm going to put fray check on all three so I can just do them back to back. Okay. And you just push them together. Okay, one down. Well, actually two down. And I actually really, really like these force grommets. They're really nice. They come in so many different shapes and whatnot. Okay, and last one. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My throat is sinuses, right? Sinuses. Joy of the seasons changing. Okay, so we have our grommets on. I'm going to put my rivet press down. And then I'm going to loop going to loop these around, just threading the grommets. And then I'm going to make sure nothing's twisted, and I'm going to stick just make sure, I'm sorry, you have to make sure those straps are not going to turn. And you can sew through this, or you can do a hole punch, not hole punch, but a rivet punch, and you can rivet the handle on, which I actually think I want to do because I like the way, I'm a big fan of rivets. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can just do a real quick rivet, and then do another one. It would be cool if like had like just like some really edgy rivets. Like I like the squares and circle ones and all that stuff. You need to punch a better hole there, Shinobu. And for the hole, you can just put a couple of slip stitches in it to cover it up. Get a, put this on. And you just put a press on it. Oops. Okay. It's a lot of material to go through. I could change to a 116 needle and stitch it, but I just think that rivets would give it that extra security so the handles don't slip out. And there you have it. You have your Alley commuter tote or nappy bag. You have a zipper pocket over here, a recessed zipper. Inside the recessed zipper, you have a hidden magnetic pocket. You have a zipper pocket inside and two like big slip pockets that can expand and a water bottle holder. This bag kind of has it all. I really like it and I hope you liked it too. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave the comments down below. Myself or the bag designer Annie from Serial Bag Maker will do it. Again, this, I really like this bag. I like how slouchy it is and how wonderful it came out. So again, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. If you can like, subscribe, and share if you think it's worthy, I would greatly appreciate it. Until the next time I see you, happy sewing.